Hello there, people of the internet. This is something I have been wanting for a very, very long time, and it was actually gifted to me by a buddy of mine. Elderly gentleman, you guys have seen a lot of his stuff on the channel. Most of it I have to return, but guess what? He told me this thing I do not. I am actually planning on going hunting with this year, because I would absolutely love the experience of hunting with a flintlock, and that is exactly what this thing is. So this is a new production flintlock. It's not a historical piece by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a flintlock nonetheless. So this right here is a flintlock made by Traditions. It's got a 50 caliber chamber inside of it. So it is a 1 in 66 twist. So that's about standard for your 50 cal. This is a flintlock that was made in Spain. If we go down the flintlock, we see a sight right there. Non-adjustable other than windage, no elevation adjustment. Then our front sight, I'm sure you guys will notice, it is backwards. I've talked about why I do that, and well, if you want to know why I do that, then, well, go check out some of the other videos, or I guess I could just tell you now, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of making you guys go check out other videos if all you're going to do is yell at me for it. So, flintlock, what this is it uses a flint and steel to ignite your powder versus something like a percussion cap system, which has an actual chemical compound that ignites your powder. How these work, there's no flint in this one right now, but how they work, pull that hammer back, you got your piece of flint inside of this thing, you've got powder inside of your little frizzen right here, or your little pan, and there's a little hole that leads back to the back of the chamber there, with the main powder charge. So with powder inside this thing, just kind of close this right here, pull your trigger, and the flint strikes this right here, sends a spark down into the pan of powder, and that ignites your powder and sends lead down range. So it's a pretty gosh darn simple concept. This right here was pretty revolutionary for the time period where matchlocks and whatnot were pretty commonplace. Matchlock, you needed a constant burning piece of match or rope or something to ignite that black powder. Then it was just not all that reliable of a system, and if you did not have a means to consistently have a burning match with you at all times, then you were not going to be able to ignite your gunpowder inside your rifle. With a flintlock, you get that spark on demand. You don't need to have a burning patch with you at all times. So these load the exact same way that any other muzzle loader does. If we come down here to the business end of the rifle, put your powder in, put your ball in, do patches if you want. We got ourselves our little ramrod right here, pop this out, and then we just kind of shove that down into the barrel of the gun. And that is what you use to seat your powder and ball all the way down. You want to make sure that you have no air gaps with these things, because whenever it comes to black powder, air gaps is what causes extreme high pressure spikes, and that's not what you want for your firearm. To disassemble this, it's got the very standard, very stereotypical, what would you call this? It's just like this metal peg that holds the barrel onto the stock. And it's not something that I would want to use for smokeless powder, but for black powder, that is absolutely adequate enough. At the back of the barrel, there's actually a hook that we can't currently see that hooks the back of the barrel into the stock itself. So we actually have 2 points of contact on this thing, both right here, as opposed to just the one that is visible. The wood on this is absolutely gorgeous, and I kind of don't really want to bring this out because I don't want to scratch it up and whatnot, but I did get this to shoot, and it is a modern production. It'd be different if this thing was from like the 1850s or something like that. If that was the case, then I would definitely not bring this out and scratch it up. So it does feel like a synthetic stock. I don't believe that this is real wood, but boy is it gorgeous. Maybe if I pull off the butt plate here, it'll tell me. Maybe I'll see whether or not it is real or fake wood. Or maybe as I scratch it up down the road, it'll tell me if it is real or fake, because I have no idea myself. Yeah, there's no way for me really to know unless I actually get in there and start having a look. I do have a couple of little dings and scratches and whatnot on this rifle, but they're not deep enough to really key me into whether or not this is a synthetic stock that just looks like wood, or actual wood that just has like a lacquer coating on it, because it does not feel real. Alright, besides all that, I have something I'm very thankful for on these rifles. Sling swivels. That right there is going to absolutely save my life whenever I'm walking around the jungles of Florida. Anyone who's ever walked around for long periods of time with a rifle without sling swivels knows how freaking awful it is. Here in Florida, whenever I go hunting, I'll walk for like 15, 20 miles or so. And, yeah, I want sling swivels on my rifle. As a matter of fact, my last hunt was with a 6.5 Jap Arisaka. You guys have seen it on the channel a couple of times. No sling swivels on that one. And I tell you what, my arms were like locking up because my muscles were so tired by the end of that day. So definitely want to make sure you got sling swivels on your rifle. It's going to be funny. I'm going to be out there with this old school flintlock and probably like a modern age elastic sling from Amazon or something on this rifle. It's going to be quite the sight to behold. So I have not actually, I guess I'd call it dry fire. I have not actually put on a flint and dry fired this thing. I have not done anything to actually check it out. Haven't actually shot it. I do plan on bringing it to the range at some point. So that should prove to be a pretty gosh darn good time. So if you'd like to be around for that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because, well, you'll have a much better chance at being around for that, I guess. So all that being said, I don't think that I have anything else to add to this. This is pretty much everything. It looks like our plate here is a type of hardened steel. Our hammer has that same rainbow coloring on it. This has definitely been fired plenty of times. We can see plenty of wear on our frizzen right here. Definitely seeing its fair amount of flint scrapes on it. So I have no idea what the actual condition of the inside of the firearm is. I do see right there where our hole is, it looks like it has a section where it can get screwed in and out. So if I take that screw out, I could probably clean the inside of that chamber, get a better feel for what it is that I'm looking at there. I have no idea how this lock plate comes off. I imagine that it's likely just with these two screws there, and this entire assembly should just lift out of there. But I'll do some more research on it before I grab a screwdriver and actually go digging around in that thing. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you guys on the next episode. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. Shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.